Nneka Mary Jane Ozezuru in Lagos. He was also accused of conspiring with others who are still at large to sexually assault his 22-year-old passenger Oluwabamishi Ayinwole before murdering her. Meanwhile, a prosecution witness today informed the Federal High Court in Abuja that Simon Ekpa, a self-acclaimed disciple of Nnamdi Kanu, would soon be extradited from Finland to Nigeria to face trial over his involvement in the agitation for Biafra. The witness, identified as PW3A, a Department of State Services operative who arrested Nnamdi Kanu in a Lagos hotel in 2015, disclosed this during a cross-examination by Kanu's lead counsel, Chief Kanu Agabi, who is a senior advocate of Nigeria. The witness confirmed that no weapons were found on Kanu or the woman arrested alongside him. However, he claimed that the nature and volume of the materials recovered, including electronic gadgets and documents linked to the indigenous people of Biafra, could suggest intentions beyond ordinary use. Also, he told the court that he did not personally analyze the recovered items, stating that his role was limited to effecting Kanu's arrest and obtaining Kanu's statement. Earlier, the federal government turned to the list of items retrieved from Kanu during his arrest, which were admitted by the court as exhibits. Now, the federal government has once again issued a stern warning to foreigners residing in Nigeria on expired visas, urging them to depart within a 90-day window or face strict consequences. In a statement released in Abuja today, spokesperson for the Nigerian Immigration Service (ACI), Akinshola Akinlabi, confirmed the timeline, emphasizing the compliance. In this particular development, he also disclosed that the Nigerian Immigration Service wishes to further inform the general public that a window period of 3 months from 1st of May to 1st of August 2025 shall be granted to allow foreigners residing in Nigeria with expired visas to return to their country home voluntarily without penalty. The fresh directive also comes with a new timeline starting 2nd of August 2025. Foreigners who have overstayed their visas by more than a year will face a permanent entry ban. During an earlier engagement in Lagos with the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, however, it was also disclosed that foreigners who have overstayed will definitely face a year-life permanent entry ban. Also, Dr. Olubumi Tunji, the Minister of Interior, announced that expatriates who overstay for more than 6 months would face a 5-year ban, while those exceeding 1 year would incur a 10-year ban, along with a daily overstay fine of $15 from their visa expiration date. Thank you for staying with us. I needed to change the microphone because all of you complained that you could not get proper signal. Well, still on the information being passed, Tunji Olubumi also elaborated on the implementation of automated landing and exit cards that have been introduced for inbound and outbound passengers into Nigeria. This latest update also includes certain measures being implemented to ensure proper accuracy in the documentation of persons not resident, or rather indigents, of Nigeria as a whole. This update underscores the government's push for stricter immigration enforcement and digital transformation of border control processes. Also, in a very recent development, the Julius Aburi-led National Executive Committee of the Labour Party is currently holding an important meeting at the party's National Secretariat in Abuja. The meeting, which is being chaired by Aburi, is supported by the National Secretary Alhaji Umar Farouk and the Chairman Secretaries of the party from all 36 states of the Federation, including the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Although the specific agenda for the meeting remains undisclosed, VP News gathered that key issues such as upcoming Anambra State governorship election and the general state of the party will be among the main topics under discussion. In related developments, Abia State Governor Alex Oti also made a strong statement declaring that he has no intention of leaving the Labour Party for another political party. You're currently listening to the World News right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We'll take a very short break. When we return, we'll head into more news and obviously get into a news analysis segment. Do kindly stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. This is still the World News right here on Voice of the People 92.3 FM. Meanwhile, in a very recent development, a particular Sandra Duru has alleged that Senator Natasha paid for Arise TV awards, also recruited Rufai, and also told her to implicate Godswill Akpabio in human and organ harvesting. Let's take a listen to her in this very short interview she granted.
I recall where she got it wrong was the trip she planned. I knew about the trip, how she was going to go to Lagos, how they would go to Arise TV, do their stuff. There's a particular man that Arise TV what's that man's name? Rufai. That Rufai took it personal. She told me all sorts of things. She told me about Rufai, how they were planning the award, how she sponsored the award, how they're going to use helicopter, everything. I didn't want to be a part of it. And I didn't want to talk to anybody about it. I thought everything I've said to her has gone in as a woman to make peace. I said, skip over it. Don't do that. Enough of the tea. You will hear the voice when I play now. I said, enough. I said, if I knew you earlier, Natasha, if I knew you before now, I would not have allowed you to go out there and be talking. Would have taken care of that. I took care of mine with the DGSSS, AZ Gazama, Dr. John Ndanusa Akanya. There was nothing like sexual harassment. We handled the things the professional things, the administrative errors, and I proved the point intellectually, intelligently, and administratively. I handled it. And in less than 7 days, they were sacked. DGSSS is alive, Gazama, but I'm not bragging about it. I'm only saying that there are better ways to handle things if you are on the side of the truth. Natasha has no single truth. Natasha has no conscience. Natasha is on a mission to destroy men. And I have sons. And I want to tell her, it's no longer the battle between her and the Senate. It's a battle between her and God Almighty and myself. Because I cannot watch her destroy our men. I cannot watch her destroy our sons. Single truth. I cannot watch Natasha destroy our daughters. Natasha is on a mission to destroy men. And I have sons. Blindly. And I will tell her for her. It's no longer a battle between her and the Senate. It's a battle between her and God Almighty and myself. Because I cannot watch her destroy our men. I cannot watch her destroy our sons. Single truth. I cannot watch Natasha destroy our daughters. Natasha is on a mission to destroy men. And I have sons. It's a battle between her God Almighty and myself. Because I cannot watch her destroy our men. I cannot watch her destroy our sons. I cannot watch her destroy our sons. Natasha is on a mission to destroy men. And I have sons. It's a battle between her God Almighty and myself.
That's Sandra Duru making her own allegations, although Natasha is yet to speak to actually disprove what was said. Natasha is yet to speak to actually tell us what exactly this means and who this person is or what kind of relationship she has with this person. So we'll wait for Natasha to either affirm or debunk what this woman has said about it. In a very recent development, however, moving on to Rivers State today, whereby hundreds of women in Rivers State on Friday staged a walkout during an empowerment program in Port Harcourt, demanding to be addressed by either the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, or the wife of the state governor, Lady Valerie Simfuber. The event held at the DUI Event Center in GRA Port Harcourt was part of the Renewed Food Initiative Empowerment Program organized by the Office of the First Lady of Nigeria. It was meant to benefit 500 women in the state with various empowerment items. Expecting the physical presence of the First Lady, the women, many dressed in traditional double wrappers, gathered in anticipation. However, tension rose when Dr. Theresa Iba, wife of the state sole administrator, was invited to address the crowd in place of Tinubu. The women began chanting, "We want Sim," and "We want Valerie Fubara," in reference to Governor Sim Fubara and his wife, whom they identified as the legitimate First Lady of the state. They added, "We don't know Ibas. Tinubu is our president and our governor is Sim Fubara." Well, let's take a listen to this woman during the broadcast, rather, when they shouted they do not want the sole administrator's wife to address them. All right, let's head on to our news analysis segment. I actually have right here in the studio Barrister Darlington Agumo, who will be helping us to analyze some of these issues and give us better context to the conversation that we're going to be having. Barrister Darlington, good evening and thank you for joining us today.
Good evening, Nelson. How are you?
I am fine. So apparently we had some audio issues, but thank God it's been a little bit resolved. Barrister Darlington, let's look at the case of Rivers. So the president's wife came there for the Renewed Hope Initiative, right? And after the president's wife came in to talk about the president's Renewed Hope Initiative, especially for women, then the sole administrator's wife wanted to address the women as per First Lady of the state. And the woman said, "Excuse me." The women said, "Excuse me, we don't recognize you. You were not elected. In the Constitution, you're not recognized. So you have no place to, address us." And they started chanting. How would you describe that?
That is good. I told you here that Rivers State cannot be Lagos State. I'm even surprised that the wife of the president was present when this thing was going on. I mean, she should have known better now. She came there to validate that illegality going on in Rivers State. I thank God for Rivers women. So if the women are reacting like this, imagine what the men would do. I will advise them to stay clear of Rivers State. All this thing they are trying to form, it will never work. I'm telling you. The wife of the president came to do empowerment program. So what concerns the sole administrator and the wife? What concerns them here? And by allowing that woman to even stand up to talk, is illegality on his own. On what ground? On what basis? I thank God the Rivers women. In fact, I give them praise for what they did. Other women all over the country should take a cue from them. Yes, they didn't bother with the empowerment program. They wanted to stand on their feet. Because if they allow that thing to happen, Esther, one day, somebody from nowhere will come and address them too as the God of River State. So those women, I thank God for your lives. You have done so well. You have made me proud. you should keep up with the pressure until that man live there.
You heard recently that Sim went to prostrate for Wike. Reconciliation efforts are ongoing. So is this? Do you think the women would have mutilated whatever effort is being done at the back room in order for a smooth running in Rivers State and for Sim Fubara to be reinstated?
Whatever Fubara is doing with Wike, it doesn't concern anybody in Rivers State. It doesn't. It is the Rivers people we are talking about. It is the Rivers State we are talking about, not Wike State, not Fubara State. So if they are going to reconcile inside the one dark room, it doesn't concern anybody. But what I know is that whatever they did was illegality.
Okay.
It was illegal. That's not democracy. I don't know the reason for bowing down and prostrating. For what? On what basis? Is Wike the owner of Rivers State, as you say, yes, somebody is encroaching on my property, and the person came to apologize to me. I mean, look at it yourself. Does it sound right? What power does Wike have in Rivers State now? Having ruled that place for 8 years and left. What other power does he have for anybody to even defend to him? Other governors that ruled Rivers State, did they play this God? Why is Wike so different? I don't understand. So the women, if the men have decided to sell their right, women, don't sell your own rights. Don't sell it. Continue to put pressure until the right thing is done. After all, we know of about women riot in 1929, and they brought a lot. In fact, the British government feared the women of Southeast up to tomorrow. They fear them because those women gave them hell. So
the Southeast women are still reverberating. They're still very strong.
Exactly.
Very
so
strong, very vocal.
And Rivers State was part of that Southeast that time. So they should put up the pressure. Yeah, they should put up the pressure.
All right, Barrister Darlington, let's move on to Senator Natasha. There's this lady, we don't know what relationship, but according to what this lady is saying, that she knows Natasha very well. And we had an issue with the audio, but she was able to describe the kind of person. She says that Natasha deliberately is trying to harm or hurt Akpabio by going the extra mile to defame him. She also said that Natasha gave her or offered her 200 million naira to accuse Akpabio of organ harvesting, this particular Dr. Duru lady. She also said that the award that was given to her in Arise TV, that she recruited Rufai and that, she paid for it. That's what this lady is saying. We're yet to hear from Natasha what she needs to make in terms of reference about this lady. Although this lady said that Natasha says she doesn't know her from anywhere, and the lady said she was going to expose her, that she has the phone calls, conversations, chats between them, and that what Natasha is aiming for is to be the governor of Kogi State. Well, we have seen a lot of back and forth. She says she's going to relay all of this evidence to the International Parliamentary Union, where Natasha actually went in to actually explain herself and the sexual allegation, between whatever it was that occurred between she and Godswill Akpabio. And you can recall as well that she tendered a sarcastic apology to the Senate President when people were saying she needed to apologize to the Senate President. Why is this information coming now, and how do you think how true do you think this is? Is this another conspiracy theory? Is this person paid to tarnish Natasha? Is this another last ditch effort to ensure that she doesn't come back to the Senate after her 6-month suspension elapses? How do you describe this?
Esther, you remember my position on this matter?
Obviously we do.
Good.
Your head was almost eaten off.
Good. And I am talking from the point of law. This type of thing, it hardly succeeds in our courts.
Why?
Because you cannot prove it.
But if Natasha has evidence to prove, because she says she took the matter to court, she reiterated and emphasized she feels that she has evidence. So while this case is still in court, how can you say it cannot be proven? How will this lady prove whatever it was that was said between both of them?
Because what she was saying did not happen as at the time she was reporting it. This harassment happened some other months or years back, and now because she was
years back, in 2 years that the Senate President became the Senate President.
It could have been, or let's say a year back, or 6 months back. But she did not put a date to it. And in this type of thing, time and evidence is of essence.
Okay.
If they have vanished or disappeared or they are no longer relevant, On what basis are you going to court with? Remember the case of Nnamdi Kanu that we discussed?
Sure.
Good. So this is, I don't know, the gullible public or ignorant public. There are things they just want to talk so that they will say yes, this and that. No, that's not how it happens in real court session. I told you here that she should have done something different. I told you. She should have done something different. If she was pursuing that of being denied the right or being, suspended in the Senate, my dear, she would have made a very good case, because the suspension was uncalled for. Even the time they gave her is even unconstitutional. It's not even in their rule book. This would have made her a heroine that she wants to be. But bringing up these sexuals or whatever, with all that is going back and forth and all that, I mean, it sounds so funny. I told you that and that, look, she cannot claim that she did not benefit anything from Akpabio. It's just that the man doesn't want to start talking and say, okay, so you were even giving her some privileges and all that. You even went from you traveled outside and all that. He came to you. So all those things, these are some of the trivialities that will not stand in court.
How do we know this particular lady wasn't paid any amount of money?
Let me come to this lady. You know, when you have evidence or when you have an information, you can peddle it. You are getting me. You can sell it to the highest bidder, and maybe the person was okay. Can you, with this information, can you be able to do this or that for me? He said, why not? Then she may go on with it in the media. Remember, she said she have evidence of their chats, of their discussion, their phone discussion. Remember, so these things may work against Natasha if it is brought to the public, because this lady cannot just be talking. She may have evidence, and she even said she will go to the parliamentary union to expose all these things. So at that point, what will Natasha say? You can see what I'm talking about. So when you are going to equity, go with clean hands.
Well, we will see how this case turns out. If this woman claims that if all she's claiming here is actually the truth, we'll expect her to provide all of this evidence in court. It could be back. I mean, Akpabio could reach out to her and say, you know what, give me the evidence that you have so we can add it, in court.
The onus is on Natasha now.
Okay.
Yes, to prove that this lady is not wrong. Let her take her to court.
Okay.
And let the lady come and defend all she said, because it's against Natasha.
Yes.
She's the one who's supposed to clear her name here. So let her go to court the same way she went to court against Akpabio. Because these evidence are very weighty.
Very weighty.
Good.
She did, because the lady is saying she accused Akpabio of organ harvesting.
Exactly.
She also said that she wanted to tie Akpabio to. Can you remember that that Esther Umoran lady that was kidnapped and killed?
Exactly.
She also said that Natasha wanted to attach her to that particular incident.
Because the boy who was fingered in that problem mentioned Akpabio's name somehow. He mentioned Akpabio's name somehow. So if all these things can be unknotted, why not? If not, why not? If not, why not? If not.
But she's a United States-based activist.
The lady.
Yes, and all this while this thing has been going on, we've not heard her voice. We've not heard anything about her.
I said, now that she says she have evidence, let her come up. Let her. In fact, we don't even need to talk. Let her, Natasha, take her to court.
She's known as Professor Mbeke.
Sorry. Is that what?
She's the lady is known as the Dr. Duru, the United-based activist.
It doesn't matter wherever she's
known as Professor Mbeke.
Don't worry, she's on Earth here, not in the moon.
Okay.
They can sue her anywhere she is. So she will now come and answer for all the allegations. Is that not true?
But if you believe that this lady has evidence because of what she's saying, because we thought we would see those chats online published, maybe for legal reasons. So I think this is a bait to call out Natasha, or maybe to frighten her to withdraw. We don't know. But Natasha has refused to put the evidence in public because the case is in court. She says all of this is with her lawyer. But do you think this woman was, earmarked to actually do what you call character assassination? No, because she knows the weight of what she's saying. Okay. If she doesn't have any strong evidence, she won't be saying it. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying that Natasha should go to court to clear her name. If not, it will disable her case in court. I hope you know. If this woman should come to testify against her in court, you get it. If the woman testifies and doesn't have anything to buttress her testimony,
You said what?
If this woman is testifying and she doesn't have any evidence to buttress her testimony, would the court take it as evidence?
Why not?
How would the court take it as evidence?
Hold on now. What she said, they will put it to test, forensic test.
What kind of forensic test?
Now, to verify all her claims, like those chat and all that. Voice experts will come and identify Natasha's voice. Is that not?
Okay.
Good. Then the network will be asked to give, this conversation, the history of this conversation.
The same network that said it was not their responsibilities to track the phone numbers or calls of those who kidnapped. The same network said it's not their responsibility.
Hold on. If the court mandate them based on this case and on this evidence, they will do it. It's their responsibility.
Okay.
They will. If the court mandate them, they cannot do anything if the court is like telling the bank to give you information on somebody's account. No, except the court tells the bank that we need this evidence in court. They will not do anything about it. They won't.
Okay, so today Nnamdi Kanu's trial continued, right?
Yes.
And we're still waiting for the legal counsel of Nnamdi Kanu to examine this witness brought in by the federal government. This witness brought in, they said they wanted to protect his identity. They gave us the witness name as PW3A, but the witness is a DSS operative. So the person is behind the screen. According to him today in court, he said that Simon Ekpa will be extradited soon. All right, that the process is ongoing. That the federal high court today in the federal high court in Abuja, this person, this witness, this DSS witness disclosed that Simon Ekpa will soon be extradited from Finland to Nigeria to face trial over his involvement in the agitation for Biafra. And this was along with questions being asked or directed to him concerning Nnamdi Kanu and what was found on him. According to this witness, he said that based on what they found, it doesn't constitute, they didn't see any material equipment to say, okay, this person is a terrorist, but that it is his intent that could be otherwise. So the question now is, Simon Ekpa's lawyer has informed, because I think the cable tried to reach out to the lawyer, anyone from Finland. They didn't see it in their website telling us or indicating to us that the man will be extradited soon. Nothing was in the Finland website. Okay, so they reached out to the legal counsel of Simon Ekpa, and they said they are not aware of such an information. They do not know about it. They are working on his case. He will appear in court. If whatever it is they're accusing him was done in Finland, what extradition process are they talking about? So if the lawyer says he's not on the know, that information is false, it is being peddled by some persons who just wants to be mischievous, how come this witness in court is also saying the same thing that the DSS had informed us earlier, the Nigerian military had informed us earlier? Who is lying?
The witness overstepped his bounds. Simon Ekpa is not a subject of litigation in Nigeria court.
Maybe he was mentioned in connection to the whole thing with Nnamdi Kanu.
Even at that, he would have said, well, that he is not here to discuss Simon Ekpa.
Okay.
Because what he said, he cannot validate it.
What if the response was based on the question asked to him by the prosecuting counsel, which is the federal government's lawyer?
I will tell you what he would have said. And nobody will hold him against that. Because Simon Ekpa, the last time I checked, there is no case in Nigerian court against him. So even if he comes up, maybe it will be an obiter or something that was mentioned in as the chief of defense staff during a particular interview. I think that was earlier this year. I monitored that particular interview. Said that they have been communicating to the government of Finland about Simon Ekpa, and that they are working on ensuring that he faces trial. So what if this is basically what the DSS operative who serves as a witness is referring to? I didn't come here to assume or speculate.
Okay.
Let us discuss what we are sure of.
All right.
Because we heard of case of Nnamdi Kanu.
Yes.
There's nothing they do. Yeah, she will soon come back. We are doing everything to up till now, since Buhari era, remember, up till now. Look, Simon Ekpa is a Finnish citizen. Are you aware?
Yes.
Good. Now tell me, on what basis will they release their citizens to come and face trial in Nigeria? Please, diplomatically speaking, is that correct? When they have already taken steps over there to prosecute him. So why would you now take over their own matter? remember initially before Simon Ekpa was arrested, the federal government was making the same move, but the Finnish government refused. So if they have decided to try Simon Ekpa in Finland, how will you now feel that they will now stop the process midway and hand him over to Nigerian government?
Amen.
I mean, does that sound right? Finland is a sovereign state. Simon Ekpa is their citizen. So they are prosecuting him based on what he did on their land. I mean, when you are talking of jurisdiction here, you have forgotten that it's very important when you are trying a case.
Sure.
So where did he commit the offense? In Finland. Why will you not take him to Nigeria for prosecution? Does this sound right? So, my dear, all this, I don't know what they are trying to get by peddling this rumor and info. I don't know. Because the Finnish government is trying the man as we talk. So, what are you saying? Why would they detain him for how many months now? They would have used that period to hand him over to Nigerian government now. Abi? So,
well, like I said, this information came out earlier. We were told by the Nigerian military that he will soon be extradited to.
We had that
and
before.
The lawyer debunked such an information. Exactly. And this is coming up again by a witness who was currently in court while they were talking about Nnamdi Kanu's case. But here is where
they are flying a kite. They are flying a kite. They want to know the reaction of the people. Forget that. We know them. Yes, they are flying a kite.
All right, let's look at what this is something that got my attention. This witness, who is a DSS operative, said that while they searched Nnamdi Kanu's items, the items were recovered from him in 2015, that he found no weapons, all right? That there was also a woman arrested alongside him on that particular day, and that he claimed that the nature and volume of the materials recovered, including electronic gadgets and documents linked to IPOB, could suggest intentions beyond ordinary use. Barrister Darlington, I don't know what that means, but if I list some of the items: electronic devices, 1 black laptop, 2 multi-mix transmitters, 2 Apple iPads, 2 MacBooks, a mini drone sound wave speaker, several modems. This is the internet age, Barrister Darlington. People create content anywhere. They have all of this audio and technical equipment, small visual equipment to do their streaming either on YouTube or podcasts and all whatnot. So what other intention is he referring to? Because you found no weapon. The reason why I'm asking was they had profiled him to be a criminal, they had profiled him to be a terrorist, but you hadn't found anything on him to indicate such. So why is that? That is why I am telling you that witness, I don't think he knows what he's saying, because in law you don't assume, especially in a matter like this. You know, you don't assume with intention beyond ordinary. What does that mean? You must be precise. The first criteria or the first way of identifying a terrorist is what? Violence. And you must see object of violence around him. Osama bin Laden, or he was brought down, you always see him carrying a gun. Anywhere you see Osama bin Laden, he must be carrying AK-47. That is the tool of his business. So what is this DSS saying? It's just to make up for what they are looking, which they could not find. I don't think that thing will make anybody believe that Nnamdi Kanu is a terrorist. It didn't add up. It didn't. That you are seen with some broadcast whatever. Yeah, some mixers, laptops, MacBook, audio gadgets. Are they contraband? And then there were personal effects, shoes. And the fact now is that those materials, those equipment that they actually took away from you, is now immaterial because it's now outdated. Good. So, all right. Meanwhile, the trial is an ongoing case against Nnamdi Kanu, and it's been, adjourned till May 6, 7, and 8 for the continuation of the trial process. Remember that we've been waiting for the legal counsel of Nnamdi Kanu to cross-examine this witness brought in by the federal government, and there were certain questions we're expecting them to ask this witness. On what grounds? Because the witness admitted that Nnamdi Kanu was being interrogated without any lawyer present, and that is something that they've actually gone wrong in. His lawyer was supposed to be present during that particular interrogation. Because during the cross-examination, they didn't see any reason to put up that argument.
They would have gone into...
No, I'm telling you that the potential questions that Nnamdi Kanu's legal team, they have not begun to cross-examine this witness. It is still the prosecuting counsel cross-examining this witness. And this prosecuting counsel were the ones that brought in this witness, this DSS operative. So the counsel of Nnamdi Kanu is yet to cross-examine.
Exactly.
Yeah, so the trial will continue on May 6, 7, and 8. Obviously, for more cross-examination, where I believe that the legal counsel to Nnamdi Kanu will cross-examine this witness. And part of the potential questions we're expecting for them to ask is, on what grounds was he arrested? When you did not find any equipment or any material to indicate otherwise, why was he taken into custody and not granted bail and kept in for so long? Why was the interrogation carried out without his legal representative? There are a couple of questions they need to ask. And how come you seized all those properties, you've not returned it to them, and now you're saying that it's outdated and considerably immaterial? These are potential questions we're expecting anyway.
Well, the matter is we cannot do the work of the the lawyers. They know what to do, and they know what they have. Yeah, they know what to do
to counter some of the things that has been said.
Exactly. So let us leave that matter for them until it is carried out. Then we cannot analyze it. That's my take here.
Let's move on to the political terrain. The Julius Abure-led National Executive Committee of the Labour Party is currently holding an important meeting at the party's National Secretariat in Abuja. The meeting is being chaired by Abure, supported by the National Secretary Alhaji Umar Farouk and Chairman and Secretaries of the party from all 36 states of the Federation, including the FCT, the Federal Capital Territory. The specific agenda of the meeting remains undisclosed, but that key issues such as the upcoming Anambra State governorship election and the general state of the party will be among the main topics under discussion. Persons like Peter Obi, Nnamdi Usman, all the likes, Alex Oti, all of them are not part of that particular meeting being held today. So what is going on? Do we still have two different factions in the Labour Party? The Julius Abure, Nnamdi Usman, the Julius Abure without Peter Obi, without Alex Oti.
It's very sad that the Supreme Court will give a judgment and people decide to interpret it the way they like. If not, the Supreme Court was very clear on who is the chairman of Labour Party. You know, in fact, they sacked Abure. So I don't see why he's still presiding over that party. I don't see how. Maybe Labour Party is trying to become as weak as PDP.
Trying to become?
Yes, or they are already, because that's what we are saying. If you check, there are power behind these parties and their errant members.
Okay.
If not, they will not be acting the way they are acting. It's a question of telling the police to move in, arrest them. Yes, arrest them. That's what they're supposed to do, but you can see nobody is doing anything. I don't even think the police will respond if a Labour Party decide to arrest Abure and the co. Maybe that's why they have become weak. If not, that's what they're supposed to do based on Supreme Court ruling. They have to tell the police to arrest these people, put them where they belong. Maybe that will not teach them a lesson. But as you can see, they are even at their secretariat holding meeting, and Abure is still acting as the chairman. So, my dear, you know, they say when a child or when any young man that the father sent to go and steal in a neighbor's house, he goes there with boldness. So there must be some boldness that is behind Abure and any other person, the weak case. That's just the truth. And that's why I told you here that, look, there is ominous danger ahead of us. Except this thing is arrested. It may implode Nigeria, seriously. It may implode Nigeria because some people, they may not be ready and willing to be talking the way we are talking, analyzing issues. There are people who don't have time for this type of nonsense because I see it as nonsense. Every institution has been compromised in Nigeria. Compromised to the extent that we don't even know whether we are practicing democracy or what. We don't know where we are now. Some people may not stomach it now. All this illegality, how long will it continue and when is it going to stop? That's the big question that Nigerians should be asking.
All right. Pastor Darlington, thank you so much for being part of the World News at 6 and giving us your own insight into some of the stories read out on the World News at 6. We sincerely do appreciate your input.
It's my pleasure.
Now, on to stories outside the shores of Nigeria. In a very recent development, however, a former Vatican worker has announced his prediction for the next Pope and added it will be a massive slap in the face to his religious order if he doesn't do one thing. The Vatican worker, Charles Collins, aged 52, correctly predicted the appointment of the Pope prior to Pope Francis and also predicted the Pope would change his name to Benedict. Charles, who previously worked at Vatican Radio between 2001 and 2017, is now managing editor of Catholic news website Crux. Charles has now announced he believes the Italian Cardinal Pier Battista Pizzaballa will be the next Pope and will choose the name Francis II. And that's a wrap on the World News at 6 right here in Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Good evening. Thank you for listening and staying with us. At 7 o'clock is the Evening Rush. To stay with us.